Hi everyone, and welcome! Have you ever been working with Python and Excel files, trying to read some data, and suddenly encountered an error message like ReadOnlyWorksheet object has no attribute defined names? It can be quite frustrating, especially when you're just trying to get your script to run. Don't worry, you're not alone, and today we're going to break down exactly what this error means and, more importantly, how you can fix it quickly and easily. We'll understand why this happens and then look at the straightforward solutions. First, let's understand the error. The message ReadOnlyWorksheet object has no attribute defined names tells us two key things. One part is ReadOnlyWorksheet. This refers to an Excel worksheet that you've opened in a read-only mode. This means you can look at its contents, you can extract data, but you cannot make any changes to it. You can't write new data, you can't modify existing cells, and you certainly can't define new names or change existing ones. The other part is defined names. In Excel, defined names are a powerful feature. They allow you to give meaningful names to cells, ranges of cells, or even formulas. For example, you might name cell A1 total sales or range B2 B10 product list. These defined names are very useful for making your spreadsheets more readable and your formulas easier to understand. However, the crucial point is that interacting with defined names, whether you're trying to read them, create them, or modify them, is considered a write operation. It's an action that changes something about the workbook structure or metadata. So, when you try to access the defined names attribute on a read-only worksheet, you're essentially asking a read-only object to perform a write-like operation. The Python library, like OpenPix, correctly tells you that this attribute doesn't exist on an object that is strictly for reading. It simply doesn't have the functionality to manage defined names in a read-only state. Now, for the solutions, which are quite simple. The core issue is the read_only flag when you open your Excel workbook. 1. Open the workbook in write mode. If you truly need to work with defined names, meaning you want to read existing ones, create new ones, or modify them, then you must open your Excel workbook in a mode that allows writing. When using libraries like OpenPix, this often means setting the read_only parameter to false or omitting it entirely, as false is often the default. For example, instead of load_workbook, file name, read_only equals true, you would use load_workbook, file name, read_only equals false. This tells the library that you intend to potentially make changes, and it loads the workbook with all the necessary attributes, including defined names, available to you. Remember, if you make changes, you'll also need to save the workbook afterwards using workbook.save, file name. 2. Reevaluate if you need defined names. Sometimes, people encounter this error because they are following a general example or trying to access an attribute they don't actually need for their specific task. If your goal is simply to read cell values, extract data from specific sheets, or iterate through rows and columns, then read_only equals true is perfectly fine and often more efficient because it loads less into memory. In this scenario, the fix is to simply not try to access the defined names attribute at all. Just stick to the operations that are compatible with a read-only worksheet, like reading cell values. Only use read_only equals false if your specific task genuinely requires interacting with defined names or making other modifications. In summary, the read-only worksheet object has no attribute defined names error is a clear signal that you're trying to perform a modification-related action on an object that is explicitly set up for reading only. The fix is either to open your workbook with read_only equals false if you need to manage defined names, or to simply avoid trying to access defined names if your task is purely about reading data. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this explanation helps you understand and troubleshoot this common Python and Excel error. If this video was helpful to you, please give it a thumbs up to let me know. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more programming tips, tricks, and explanations like this one. Hit that notification bell too, so you never miss a new upload. See you in the next video.